everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how you can display your music album art if you're using Plexamp or Spotify to an LED matrix panel. Now, this is what it looks like. This is a P3 64 by 64 LED matrix panel. Um, and these are pretty much like just individual LEDs in there. And um, we're gonna use my favorite microcontroller to drive those LED panels, the ESP32. The first thing that we need to do is obviously assemble the hardware, and by the time that you're done, it's gonna look similar or even maybe even better than how I have it, something like this. Now, I know it might look a little bit challenging because of all the wires, but there are a lot of tutorials out there that shows you how to connect these things. And I'm also gonna provide a link on my GitHub page on how to do that, just to make it an easy find for you guys. And then I also have this, and this is an INMP441 omnidirectional microphone module. And why do we have this? This is going to be used for one of the features of the project, which is it provides you to use a music visualizer. So overall, I'm calling this project the TUNEFRAME. It's gonna have a music visualizer, the ability to display the album art when you're using Plexamp or Spotify for now. I'm gonna try to support more streaming services in the future, but for now that's what we have. And I'm also gonna provide, unlike the next version, the ability to upload your favorite GIF files. So if you don't want to use it as a music visualizer or an album art display,
2
you
p.m.
could display your favorite GIFs in there and just watch it all day. So how much does it cost? If you're buying from Amazon, obviously it's a little bit more expensive, but if you buy them out like AliExpress, they're way cheaper. So this P3 LED matrix, 64 by 64 pixels, is about $15. The INMP441 is probably going to cost you $1, and then the ESP32 is about $2-3 from AliExpress. But if you buy them from Amazon, you can't wait. I think they're like $15 a pair or something like that. And then you also need to have a power supply. Now, if you look at all the tutorials out there, they're saying that you need at least like a 5 amp, 4 amp minimum power supply to drive it, which is great. But I'm only using a 1.6 amp power supply, and it does still work for me. Granted that you're not gonna try to set the brightness to 100%. I think right now I'm setting this at like 30%, so pretty low. But if you have a more capable power supply, that obviously that will be better. And that power supply cost me maybe $5, I think. So overall, the project, it's probably less than $30. There are similar products out there commercially right now that cost a lot more. I think they're in the range of like $130 to $150 or more, or $180. You got the Divoom and those other types of products that does some similar things, but it doesn't do this. It does not play. It does not display the cover art from Plex or Spotify, and it doesn't have a music visualizer. What those things does is they display some sort of like, okay, weather or sports channels and stuff like sports scores. which I will also support in the future updates. But for version 1, this is the focus. Okay, so after you've connected um, all of the hardware and you're ready to dig into the software, there are two ways to do it. One is you could uh, fork my repo or download the zip file, however you want to do it from my GitHub repository. And then you use Visual Studio Code and Platform.io to install and compile. And then once you're compiled and everything is good, then you could upload that bin file to the ESP32. Now, some of you might not be comfortable doing that if you're not familiar with Platform.io. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a simpler method, and what it is going to be a boilerplate over-the-air code using just the Arduino IDE, which is probably a lot more familiar with you guys. So I'm just going to provide that. Once you upload that to the ESP32, you will have the ability to pick a bin file, a new firmware to upload over the air. And then what you can do is download the firmware from my GitHub repo. And then once you download it, you could just select it and then upload it to the ESP32. So you don't have to deal with Visual Studio Code and Platform.io. But if you want to modify this for future stuff, obviously you'd want to just get your environment set up if you want to add more features to it. And so after that's done, you could just turn on the display. The first thing that's going to happen is you need to check your phone, Android or iOS, and then go to your Wi-Fi settings, and then what you're going to see is going to be called a TUNEFRAME Wi-Fi setup access point. Now you just click on that, and it's going to ask you to select a network. And what you need to select is a 2.4 gigahertz network. 5 gigahertz will not work right now. And that's because of the limitation of the ESP32. So once you select the 2.4 gigahertz and you put on your password, the ESP32 will try to connect to the network. And once it's connected, it's going to show you the IP address in the panel. And you just need to take a note of that. It could be like, say, 192.168.50.12, whatever it shows you. And so you need to enter that IP address to your browser. You could use, I prefer Chrome. If you're using Safari, that's fine too. So if you go to Chrome, you just put that on the address bar, and then it's going to show you the web page for TUNEFRAME. Now, this web page is hosted locally from the ESP32. So if you turned it off, that web page is not going to function anymore. Now, once you're in there, the initial or the default theme that the TUNEFRAME will work on is going to be the music visualizer theme. Now, this allows you to select different themes, different patterns, I mean. And so you could select it, like the first one will be like an auto change every 1 minute. And then the other, there's like this other one. So if you select each one specifically, it's not gonna cycle through the other patterns. And then right next to the music visualizer option, you have the Plexamp music display. And then also the Spotify album art option. So let's tackle Plexamp first. So in the Plexamp album art option, there are 3 fields that we need to fill up. One is the server address, the second one is the server port number, and the third one is called the authentication token. Now, if you have a Plex media server running on your home, either via LAN or your computer, um, you could go to the settings, Plex media server settings, and you will find the server address. Um, and then the port number is also available in there. By default, I think it's 32400. So those are very simple to get. Now the third one, the authentication token, is the only thing that's a little tricky. Um, but if you follow these instructions, it's going to be real simple. So what you need to do is log in your browser, and I will suggest to use Chrome. So log in to your Plex Media server using Chrome, and then once you're in there, play any music from your music library from the media server. And then once it's already playing, just right click on the web page, and you will see at the bottom it's called inspect, and that will open the developer tools. So once you're in spec, it's going to be under the elements tab. Search for the word X Plex token. It's going to be, so your authentication token is going to be bounded by those two words, Xplex token, on both sides. And so once you get that, you're all done. And what you need to do is put that token into the third field, and then you click on Save Settings. Once you do that, the matrix display will restart, and if you're playing your music at that point, it's just gonna display the music cover art, and then you're also gonna have a top and bottom labels. The top will be the title, and the bottom will be the artist. If the title or the artist name is longer than the width of the panel, it will start scrolling. But if it fits, it's just gonna stay there. So that's it for the Plex album art option. And even if you turn off your panel, let's say in the evening, and you turn it back on the next day, it will remember the last settings that you have. It's also going to remember the address, the port number, and then the auth token. But to my experience, that auth token doesn't really change for Plexamp. Okay, now moving on to Spotify. Okay, now for Spotify, we also need to fill in 3 fields. One is the client ID, a client secret, and a refresh token. So it's a little bit more tricky than the Plexamp, but I'm trying to make it as simple as I can for you guys. So in order for us to get the client ID and the client secret, you need to go to developer.spotify.com and then log in using your Spotify account. Once you're logged in there, you could click on your name, and then there's going to be an option for dashboard. So you click dashboard, and then the first thing that you need to do is click on create app, and you could call that app whatever you like, and also the descriptions. And then once you're done with that, just click create app, and then it's going to take you to settings, and you could click on settings. In your settings, in the basic information section, you will find the client ID. So that's the first thing that you need. Now there's also an option below. It says you click client secret, and you click that, and you can copy that. And so you keep those two information together. So that's the part that you're gonna enter in the client ID and the client secret. The third one, the refresh token. So I found this and forked this repo that allows you to simplify the process of getting a Spotify refresh token. But I'm also gonna include the way to acquire that using the a curl command, a couple of those. If you're not trustful with the with this public method, so pretty much like there's an option there that below client secret called get your refresh token. So if you click that, it's gonna take you to one of my uh, other repo. And as I've said, full disclaimer, I found this a website and well, this repo, and I forked it. So credits to the original developers who did it, and thank you for doing it. So in there's gonna be an option to um, enter the client ID and the client secret. So you put those two things in there. And now for the scope, what you need to pick will be the third and fourth, which is user read playback state, and the other one is user read currently playing. So you check those two boxes, and then at the very bottom, you don't have to save this credentials, and I don't encourage you to do it. Just click submit, and once you do that, it's gonna refresh. Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. There's also this note on the website. You're gonna see, remember to add https://roguegamesios.github.io Spotify refresh token. So you need to copy that URL and then go back to your Spotify settings and add that as a callback URL. So there's going to be a section there that you could add the callback URL. You have to add this one. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So you click on submit, and then it's going to provide you with an access token and a refresh token. Now the access token, you don't need that. You just need the refresh token. And just for information, this is how it works. The moment that you ask for an access and refresh token, the response comes in, like both of them are in there. The access token is always good for 1 hour, and it expires after 1 hour. Now the next time it expires, what you need is the refresh token, which doesn't change, but you use that as part of your payload when you send the request, and then it gives you a new access token, and that will be good for another hour. Okay, so once you have that, and you can just go back to the TUNEFRAME website, you put in the client ID, you put in the client secret, and you put on the refresh token, and you click Save Settings. And once you do that, it's going to reboot again. And then you could just start playing music from Spotify, and it should display the music cover art for the current music playing. So the behavior for Plexamp album art and Spotify album art are pretty much identical. Now, if you want to switch between those three, like the music visualizer, Plexamp, and Spotify, you could just go to the website and just click one of them, like click select, and you don't have to re-enter the information for the server address for Plex, for example, or the refresh token for Spotify. You don't have to do that again. You only have to do this once. And even though you're seeing those in the website, like the next time it refreshes, they're all blank. It doesn't mean that they're not saved. They're in there. And then if you keep on switching from one of them, it's pretty quick. It's probably a couple of seconds. It's just going to reboot the machine and then the panel, and then you're back in business. And so yeah, that's it. I hope that you like the project. I'm very excited about it. It complements the previous project that I showed you guys, which was the wireless volume knob. So this kind of like completes my media setup in my office. So as I've said, this is only version 1. The next version, I'm going to include the option to display your favorite chip arts. Um, so anyway, stay tuned. I hope you enjoy um, um, this video. Let me know if you have any suggestions, if you have any recommendations, if you have any comments to improve it. Um, and yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.